How to become a pit crew mechanic? What is the importance of a pit crew mechanic in the race? This is Bolt and Net. I am Albin Verkis and welcome to Talk. In motorsports, a pit stop is a pause of refueling, new tire, repair, mechanical adjustments, a driver change as a penalty, or any combination of the above. The pits usually comprise a pit line which runs parallel to the start or finish straight and is connected at each end of the main track, and row of garage outside which work is done. Pit stop work is carried out by anywhere from 2 to 20 mechanics, also called pit crew, depending on the series regulations, while the drivers often wait in the vehicle. Depending on the circuit, the garage may be located on pit line or in separate area. In most series, the orders of the teams pit boxes is assigned by point standing, race results, or previous qualifying results before the start of the race. In any racing series that permits scheduled pit stops, pit strategy becomes one of the most important features of the race. So the pit crew mechanic is very important for a race. They have a perfect strategy for the race. During a scheduled pit stop, the team's pit crew services the vehicle as quickly as possible, completing a number of different services. The most common services performed are refueling and changing tires. Other services are performed in routine pit stop, including removing debris from the radiator, air intakes, cleaning the windscreen, making adjustment to tire pressure, suspension setting, and aerodynamic device to optimize the vehicle performance for the current condition. In endurance racing, scheduled drivers change a brake pad replacements are also considered routine services when done as part of the scheduled pit stop. An unscheduled pit stop may see other services performed because unscheduled stops are often due to damage or mechanical problems. They may include emergency repair and replacements of parts. In some forms of racing, a team may be ordered to bring a vehicle into the pits as penalty and either drive through the pit line at the maximum permitted speed or remain stationary in their pit box for a specified period of time. During the time, no services can be performed. So in this episode, mainly I am talking about Formula 1 pit crew mechanic and MotoGP pit crew mechanic. So first one, Formula 1 pit crew mechanic. Four-wheel gunner or tire changer. One of the each wheel or corner of the car use a pneumatic wrench to remove the car's single locking nut from each tire, then reinstall it in the new tire. Next one, the front wing man. If the necessary adjustment front wing angle to provide more or less downforce, entire front wing in the case of damage sustained during the race. Third one, the front and rear jack man uses lever type of jacks to lift the cars and permit the changing of tire during the pit stop. The job of the front jack man is generally considered the most hazardous of the entire pit crew, as it requires standing directly in front of the car as it enters its pit box. Mechanics in these roles have been injured as a past when drivers have overshoot or failed to brake in time their pit box. By contrast, due to the location of his duties directly behind the car, the rear jack man is the only team member not on his working position before the car enters its pit box. Next one, the fire extinguisher man. The fire extinguisher man stands ready with handheld fire extinguisher to put out any fire that may be occurred during a stop. Sometimes more than one pit crew members may perform this role. If a car comes in from an unscheduled stop with mechanical issues involving a fire, excessive heat, example overheating the brakes. Next one, the lollipop man. The lollipop man held the team's pit sign, helping the driver identify its pit box on the pit line and holding it in position during the stop to remind the drivers to keep his brakes on while tires are being changed. Remember to put the car in the first gear once his jacks are lowered, and finally to signal the drivers to leave the pit box once the pit stop was complete by raising the sign. Nowadays, this role is carried out by traffic light system. Next one, refueling man. The refueling man manages the refueling system for the car, hooking it place during the pit stop and disengaging it when refueling was complete. With refueling have been banned in the Formula 1 from the 2010 season onwards, this role is no longer necessary as car no longer refuel mid-race. Next one, the starter man. The starter man stood ready with the starter tool to restart the car should the driver start his engine during the pit stop. Nowadays, as a modern Formula 1 car have anti-stall system and can be started by the driver independently if needed using the car battery, this role is no longer necessary. So the next one, MotoGP pit crew. The main and important person in the MotoGP pit crew is the MotoGP crew chief. He is the man behind successful pit stop. He holds the most important duty to let the rider know when to take a pit stop during the race. The professional and experienced pit crew chief earn big salary contract compared to recently promoted MotoGP from Moto2 and Moto3 series. experienced, mostly hired because they know the track very well. Next one, MotoGP telemetry. Telemetry personnel important for the MotoGP paddock staffs collect the data and analyze it later to take changes to the rider's strategy. They are the ones who collect all the data during the race and look for the changes to make during the race and allow the rider to change his style during the race. Next one, MotoGP mechanic. Mechanics are the key person in MotoGP. They look for the major changes to the tires, engine, brakes and suspension in the garage. And the last one, MotoGP press officers. They are the one who look for the best hospitality for the riders and look for the possible update that should made public on behalf of the team and rider. So this is the part 1, how to become a pit crew mechanic. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Until then, ciao.